Akira Toriyama meant so much to a lot of people around the world, especially the anime and manga community. And I just wanted to make this video to just honor him and say thank you so much for all that you've done. And I thought this would be a fun little video just to kind of go over my top 5 moments of Dragon Ball Z. Of course, we could go over the moments in Dragon Ball and the moments in Dragon Ball Super and some of his other works, but my favorite personally is Dragon Ball Z. That was my introduction to Akira Toriyama's work, and I wanted to go over these just to kind of honor his legacy and talk about how much it meant to me. So first off, every day after school, and I know so many people have the same story, but every day after school, I would run home as fast as I can. And when I say run, I actually mean my grandma picked me up and we went over to her house to watch. But we would do it as fast as we could. And I would watch, I think Sailor Moon was on first, and then maybe Dragon Ball, and then Dragon Ball Z, or Pokemon was in the mix somewhere. But I would always make sure I caught Dragon Ball Z. And I was introduced somewhere around the Saiyan Saga / Frieza Saga, and I remember my first DVD, my first VHS tape of Dragon Ball Z was Goku versus Frieza. So this story meant so much to me as a kid, and it helped me, you know, get past the day-to-day life, the hardships of going to school and being picked on and stuff like that. And it inspired me to start working out in many, many ways. And so I wanted to take this time to just go over my top 5 moments. And we're starting with where I was introduced, the Saiyan Saga. In particular, Goku versus Vegeta. I love every time Goku and Vegeta fight. It's just totally epic. It doesn't matter which saga it's in, but to me, the first one was the best. I mean, we'd never seen anyone like Vegeta before. He was a conqueror of worlds and probably galaxies. I don't really know the scaling at this point, but Vegeta was incredible. He had the power radar on, and you could see everyone's power levels, which I wish they kind of kept that going, because I guess it just got too crazy after Frieza being a million plus and all that. It was just so epic because we'd never seen anyone like him before, and everyone's on a timeline to get Goku back and to fight them, and it was just such an epic fight. And Goku had never faced anyone of this scale before, but he had been doing his training, and the fight really lives up to the hype. There were so many great moments. Just the fact that Vegeta, being a prince, is going against a low-life nobody like Goku, and he's just so humbled, thinking that he should just totally destroy him, and Goku gets the best of him. Or actually, in my opinion, it's kind of more of a draw. If it weren't for Goku's friends, he would not have won. But, you know, having said that, I mean, that's a good point, because the whole show is a lot about friendship and helping one another and stuff, and I think that was Vegeta's biggest flaw. I'm pretty sure he's the one that ends up killing Nappa, and maybe if he hadn't done that, even a weakened Nappa could have helped him win, because a weakened Nappa is still stronger than every other character at that point in the series. That's my number 5. My number 4 is the introduction to future Trunks. This guy was such a badass, and we were like, who is this dude? Who is this cool looking guy right here? I wanted my hair like that for so long. He was such a badass. And the fact that he comes in, and it took Goku so long to turn Super Saiyan, and he just does it instantly, like no big deal. And then he also kills Frieza, like no big deal, and he has a sword. That's just absolutely insane. This guy is the epitome of cool, and he is one of my favorite characters. I mean, he's just so freaking awesome, and he's a man in a different timeline, in a different universe, comes to this universe, the one that we know, and helps save it, and warn all the characters of, you know, the impending, you know, doom that is about to happen. This whole saga really is amazing to me, but Future Trunks really introduces it so well, and I just thought it was freaking awesome, and it was really good storytelling. Next up, we're jumping ahead to the Buu Saga, and this is one of my favorite moments in all of Dragon Ball Z. It's Majin Vegeta's sacrifice. So this is when we realized that Vegeta was actually kind of like, he was in control the whole time. Like, the Majin thing had nothing to do with him being a badass and turning and fighting Goku and all this stuff, which is such a funny twist on events. And then he goes and sacrifices himself for everybody. Now, I wish the sacrifice had more of like a payoff. Like, I wish it had actually weakened Buu or something like that, because Buu just kind of comes back, you know, even stronger after that. But having said this, this is when we really see Vegeta's character development, like, just go crazy. Like, this is like, when it comes to fruition, like the first thing I talked about, where he was killing his friends. In this one, he's sacrificing himself for his friends and for his family. And so this is like when his character arc really comes full circle, in my opinion. And so Everyone loves Vegeta. He's such a badass. You know, he trains so hard. He's such an inspiration. And this scene right here just really made me fall in love with him and his character. So that was awesome. I also really, it's not on the list, but it's like an honorable mention. The later scene when he and Goku are fighting Boo, and he's like, Boo's just kicking his ass, and he's just like, come on, is that all you got, basically, you know? And it's just, I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's something along those lines, and it gets me fired up every time. Like when I go to the gym and work out, I think about that. So coming in at number 2 is probably a lot of people's number 1, and that is Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 or Ascended Saiyan or whatever they're calling it now, and going against Cell. This was such an epic moment because Gohan finally lived up to what the series had built him up to be the whole time. And the thing is, he was such a peaceful kid. He didn't want to fight, but he kept getting pushed by everyone to be stronger, and he had to be able to save the world and probably the galaxy or universe or whatever. Gohan just became one of the strongest, the strongest character in the whole series up to that point as a kid. And it was really incredible. And on top of this, he gets super injured in this whole fight, and he has like one arm, and then he does the freaking awesome Kamehameha. They say the father and son Kamehameha, which is freaking crazy. This is one of my favorite moments. I get chills every time I see this scene. He's just got one arm down and one arm like facing the camera like that, and he's just going full Kamehameha and just overtakes Cell and destroys him. And to me, that just like gives me chills. And I love how everybody is involved in that fight. Like all of the Z fighters are coming in, like fighting Cell from behind. And then Vegeta, this is one of the first times you see Vegeta starting to change, and he comes in from the top and is like throwing beams at Cell. And then, it's just awesome. Everyone gets involved. I just love that moment. It's such an epic moment where they're all just like coming together to face this demon of sorts, this conglomeration of all of them to save the world. And that was just such a beautiful moment. And then coming in at number 1 is when Goku finally turns Super Saiyan for the first time. Now, in hindsight, this isn't a big deal compared to like Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3 or Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or whatever we're calling it now, Ultra Instinct, all that stuff, Goku Black. But for the first time, we kind of saw the first Super Saiyan. This was epic. This was unlike any other, because the series up to that point had just been Dragon Ball and then rumors of a Super Saiyan. We had never actually seen what one looked like. I think at one point Vegeta even thought that he had went Super Saiyan. But no, he hadn't. This was the first time that we saw it, and it was when we needed it the most, going up against Frieza, this unbeatable force. Goku had trained his ass off. He had been training and training and training, and it was this scene and this VHS tape that I got as a kid that really inspired me to start training as well. And this is what got me to start doing martial arts, and eventually to start working out, and eventually become a personal trainer and to train other people and to help a lot of people. It was because of this moment and many others in the series that are just like this. That's why this is my favorite moment in all of Dragon Ball. I'll never forget this because it's just OG classic Dragon Ball Z. Good stuff right here. I love it. The fight with Frieza, everything about it, against all odds, the ticking time bomb of the planet being ripped apart and destroyed, and he doesn't have long to get off of it. And even like after like Frieza's defeated, he's still trying to be a good guy and still trying to save Frieza's life, but Frieza just destroys himself in the process. And so everything about this fight was phenomenal. I really enjoyed this. And all this to say, this is only 5 moments from Dragon Ball Z, one of Akira Toriyama's best works in my opinion, but one of his works. And this is just 5 of those moments, and that had such an impact on my life in this sort of way. And so much of an impact that I couldn't even go over everything. It would be like an hour plus long video. And I'm just one guy from Tennessee originally. That's on the other side of the world. All the other people, imagine all the other people that were impacted by this. So many millions and millions of people were impacted by Dragon Ball Z, and all of Akira Toriyama's work. That's why I wanted to make this video, just to say thank you so much for everything that you did and everything that you created. I'm so honored that I live in this time in which I got to consume this and be inspired by this work and get to help so many other people on their own fitness journey and in life because of how you inspired me. So thank you so much, Akira Toriyama.